Hi, welcome to Heartfully Creating. I thought it would be fun to do my own personal art history for my own records, for anyone who's interested in just exploring art. If you're young and you want to be an artist and you don't really have any idea other than maybe you've drawn and colored, painted, that kind of thing, done what you've done in school, and to know what's out there. So I've been on the earth for 56 years, blessed with an awesome life, and been exposed to a lot of art making materials. So I just thought it would be fun to break it up, or easier actually, to break this up into different segments or parts because there's been so many different things that I've got to try. But the first two parts are going to be focused on the number one priority, number one medium that I have worked with my entire life, which would be like drawing and painting. So pencils, colored pencils, paint, mostly acrylic, primarily acrylic, pretty much all acrylic, even though you're going to see maybe some watercolor supplies and things like that. But acrylic is my number one thing. So first of all, and I'm going to break this is part one, painting. And I'm just showing you some. I actually got to go visit the National Art Gallery in Ottawa about 30 years ago and was blessed with being to be able to actually see. Now, you'll appreciate this. If you're an artist, you'll appreciate this. Just as a human, to be able to see art by masters, like people that were alive and became famous. Not that you have to become famous. Remember, they become famous because they were probably the first person to do what they did. So these are just some of the artists. They actually let me take photos, so I was thrilled because the art gallery owned these paintings. So these are just a few of the many pictures I took. Peter Paul Rubens, who was alive, I think it was, like the 1500, 1600. So I'd have to look that up because I can't remember. So I'm going to give a bit of commentary on some of the pictures that you're going to see, and then so you don't get totally bored with my voice, I'm going to just interject with some music. But I have taught children over the years as well. And one of the key things that, if anything, I want these videos to inspire anyone to create and to experiment and to try things and to not feel wound up tight that, oh, I can't. I've heard so many people in my life say, I'm like, so do you make art? Oh, no, I'm not an artist. And it's like, I had a teacher once who said out of 2,000 students, only, I think, 2 people she couldn't teach because they had it so stuck in their head that they couldn't do it. And she said it's not true. Some people, yes, have the ability to make art naturally and the desire to make art naturally, and then other people can do it. It just takes practice and work, just like singing, actually. I've heard there's an interesting story about someone in our city who was a famous banjo player, and a neighbor lived nearby, and they were wondering what this horrible sound was. And he had been on national television. He was an awesome banjo player in high school. And then it turns out the awful noise was this young man practicing and learning how to sing. And after that, he was able to sing. And anybody who never knew that about him didn't know that he ever sounded horrible. So you can learn. So I'm just sharing some of the other modern materials that I've dabbled in, which is Pebeo paints. They're pretty cool. So you can also make jewelry out of that. So I played around with that. I wish I had an art history of my own actual record of drawings and paintings, but unfortunately, nothing was really saved from when I was younger. So, I'm just going to show you what I've done in the time that I've been able to capture it on with photos and video and things like that. So these are the Pebeo paints. I also can make them into jewelry. They're very versatile. They're moon. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've used them. Pebeo has other types of paint because I've also used some of the acrylic paint. It's just a company brand. This was Pebeo paint. They had chemical reactions, and that was on resin and coated with resin. And that's another topic that I'll be dealing with in another part of my personal art history. And these are the Pebeo paints. You can see, if you look, you can see a shadow where the outlines are. That's an outlining medium that Pebeo provides. And I was just freehanded. These were freehanded just on a canvas board, which I don't recommend for doing anything good because canvas board can warp. So it's good, an expensive way to make art, but not if you want something that's going to last. And then I was blessed with getting an Ontario Arts Council grant, probably, I lost track, about 15 years ago. So I did an exhibit at our home of all of our art. I'm going to focus on Craig's another time as well. And this is just an easel, and a great easel on the right is the one my very first easel I ever had, because I actually couldn't use an easel before until I finally started being able to go to university in my early 30s, late 20s, because they finally made it all wheelchair accessible. So my dad, actually, I believe it's God that blessed me sitting in class one day thinking, how can I paint? Because I couldn't lift my arm up because of my disability. And I got the idea to balance my arm on the table and use a chair to hold my painting. So then I could finally paint looking up. Otherwise, I always had painted flat, like looking down, which always skewed my perspective and my composition. So then my dad blessed me by making me my very first easel. So it was pretty cool. So that didn't happen, though, until my late 20s when I got the idea, because I had given up painting, actually, and was at that point doing colored pencil drawing, because I just thought I can't paint anymore because my arms were weaker. I couldn't lift them. My arms would be in the paint. Yeah, so that's the easel right there that my dad made, and it was awesome. It was a great opportunity, and I was able to do what I believe, and I'm not bragging here. I humbly say some of the best paintings that I had done in my life. I haven't painted in over 10 years, mostly because I started dabbling in other stuff, and these days I just don't have the energy or the physical ability to really work like I used to. But I'm glad to hear some of the people that I've inspired are making art. Some of the young ones I used to get to hang out with and do art with. So if anything, that's what these videos are about. That's what this the Heartfully Creating channel portion is about here at Aberge Creation. So I hope you're inspired, and I hope if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. I would love to see artwork. You can see as you go through these, just there was those pairs and these pairs and some other green pairs. You can see the change. So as you work and practice, things can get better. I personally have been someone who hasn't stuck with the same artistic style all the time. It was just kind of stylized, abstracty, I guess sort of realism, because obviously there's objective abstract art, which is object meaning it's supposed to represent something, and then non-objective abstract art is when it's just not supposed to represent a certain subject matter. Obviously, mine are all subjective art, except for, I would say, my doodles, or that Pebeo stuff that we passed by earlier. And pomegranates, these are the paintings. A lot of them are interspersed through here. Not this one. This is a red onion. My sister gave me the idea to paint an onion. I didn't really like it. It was a pretty big painting. This is probably about 20 by 20. But it was a good challenge. But she had seen it somewhere and said, I used to listen to her a lot and got inspired by her. She would give me encouragement in what to do as a subject matter. I didn't have the heart sometimes to say I don't want to do that. But I'm glad she did, because it did help me to be challenged. And these, see, pansies, look at, those are all pansies, and they're all done in different styles. This is my favorite. This hangs on our wall. It's probably about 26 by 24-ish, I guess, something like that. And these are Icelandic poppies. They were part of my Ontario Arts Council grant project. It was called the New Works Grant, and it was basically doing whatever God inspired, God's creation. And this is a painting I am not too happy with, because it's one of my early poppies that I call a quad tick, because it's 4 different pieces to make the painting. My sister has that somewhere. This is another early poppy that I did. So again, the styles change. So of course, most artists want to try to be changing and developing their skill as they go along. This is my most favorite poppy that I ever did, and I gave it to my sister. I gave a lot of my best paintings to my sister, just because I loved her, and if she liked it, I'm like, oh, here, you can have it. So yeah, but it was one of my most favorite ones. I don't know why the picture gets a little skewed because of the video. It goes wonky, but it was just, I just loved doing that. It was the most stylized. It's pretty large. Yeah, I just really like that one a lot. This one is my least favorite, actually. I didn't like the composition. Oh, okay, that's my even least favorite. The composition to me is terrible. And this blue poppy, I gave it to a friend. A lot of my paintings I gave it to some friends. This is a blue poppy. It's an actual poppy. It's a blue poppy. And I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. And sunflowers, those, oh man, you can grow them super easy. I have to say all my you can paint from your head, draw from your head, like what's in your head. But what I do is I would look for things that inspired me, and I would take photos of the flowers, and I would work from the photos. But then obviously my paintings are not realistic. They don't look photorealistic because, like someone said a long time ago, I heard like once they invented the camera a long time ago, like during Michelangelo's day, Leonardo da Vinci and Peter Paul Rubens and those guys, they didn't have a camera back then. So a lot of the portraits in that were because that was a record of someone, like that's why it was often like big banking families, like in Florence, it was like the Medici family who would be the patrons of people like Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Oh, and that's at Starbucks. Craig and I both had our paintings hanging at a Starbucks in our city, so that was cool. I love that painting. Again, someone bought that one. A lot of these paintings I don't have. So it's nice posting a lot of this stuff because some of the stuff I don't actually have anymore. So at least I have a visual record of it. So that's cool. But yeah, they had patrons and they would, here, I'm paying you to do my portrait. Or in a lot of cases back then, it would be like Michelangelo doing a tomb or like a sculpture for when they die. And yeah, so that would be a record of them, and it would be the only visual image we have of, say, that's how we know how some of those people look, because there's great paintings done by great artists, and they're visual records of those guys. But once the camera was invented, there was no need to, especially once it became more popular. It wasn't a big thing at first because not everybody had a camera. But nowadays, people can take pictures all over because it's on our cameras, our phones, and most of us all have. Sadly, it's kind of sad to me that almost everyone in the world has a phone, no matter what part of the world you live in. And so you can take a picture, which is great. But I'd like to know how many of us are actually looking at real life anymore because of the camera. It's sort of, I look through it a lot. I used to take a lot of pictures. These days I do it for obviously making videos and stuff. But I had a season where I was doing rocks. All those paintings are gone. I don't have any of them. They all sold or I gave them away. If you want to make money, obviously you can make money as an artist. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you have to be a poor, starving artist if you want to be an artist, because there are actually, and because of things like YouTube and the internet, just check out, there's a channel called 1000 on YouTube. He is great. Peter Draws, Jazza. There's different artists on YouTube that actually are making money, being artists, doing YouTube, doing 1000. His name's Peter in real life. His handle is, or brand name or whatever, is 1000. Does murals and all kinds of stuff, like amazing stuff. Busy fellow. So you can make money doing art. I never actually made money enough to make a living. I did it because I liked it, and all of that. But if you can definitely do what you love and make a living at it. It just takes work and a lot of marketing and self-promotion and great ideas and things like that. So, and you can see as we go through this, and there's people who paint rocks. This was just a special rock I did for a special friend. But yeah, you can do whatever. I do preliminary drawings on some things. This was a cell phone case I did. So this could cross the line between drawing, painting, because I use paint pens. So this should probably be on part 2, which is going to be about painting or drawing. So, and our old mailbox, like I painted that. And these are those Pebeo acrylic paints I was telling you about. So I used actually Stevenson acrylics. That was my #1 acrylic paint. Apparently they're not around anymore. It was a Canadian company, I believe. And I love them. That's all I ever used to use. So I would recommend, you can get a fairly inexpensive acrylic paint, but the problem is getting a good pigmentation, because there's nothing worse than try a no-name crayon like versus Crayola, and you'll notice a difference in the pigment, right? So it's nothing more disappointing as a kid, and you get a coloring book and you take a crayon and it's like, oh, it's not Crayola. And you go to use it and it's like just wax. You can see a hint of color. That's called pigment. It's a lack of pigment. So definitely when if you're just starting out and you want to try painting, there's some great places on Amazon. I definitely think places like Michael's are highly overpriced. So get a coupon for sure. Or check out some lesser name companies on Amazon and check out the reviews, because that definitely is a good good. And when you're buying anything online, check out the reviews before you buy it, because you definitely want something pigmented. Otherwise, it's just really disappointing, because who wants to paint when you have to do like 20 coats because it's so watered down. So I do golden acrylics, and Liquitex is another good brand. But there are some good. I can't think of any other brands that aren't as popular, but I know they're out there. And I use Pebeo, so you can get a good paint set for like $30. Just little tubes to see if you like it before you invest. Because I mean, this kind of thing can be an investment, but you don't have to spend tons of money to start out with. And ultimately, you don't have to in the end. It all depends on the quality of paint. Another thing is, though, you want to make sure it's color fast. Color fast means that when it's in the sun, it doesn't, like this mailbox is outside. Now, this was when it was brand new. We can check it in a year and see if it was color fast. So far, I've looked and it's still the same color. Color fast means it can handle the UV light, that it's not going to fade. Like we have curtains that were black and now they're pale gray because unfortunately they weren't color fast. The color has been sucked out of them basically by the ultraviolet light of the sun. So that's another thing. That's why artwork that's being preserved, like when I worked at an art gallery in our city, the environment is very, very controlled because they want to preserve the artwork forever. So lighting is key, humidity is key, like the perfect air quality and everything. So yeah, so you just want to watch for color fast paint and art making supplies so you don't have things fade. Or don't keep it in the sunlight. Definitely don't hang it in front of a window. This was a whole entire series that's probably will still be ongoing until God takes the breath out of my lungs. Our kitchen table. These are the most recent pictures, but we had a black kitchen table and I started using actually nail art powders and glitter galore. And at first I went through about a gallon of polyurethane and layer after layer trying to create this galaxy effect. I didn't actually really use any paint. It was tiny little jars. It was, if I added up the expense by the time I was finally down to what I sort of call done, I don't even know. It was just ridiculous because I'd look at it and go, oh, I got to change it. And then I got to change it. I got to change it. So there's, like I said, all of these things are actually on my channel in different videos, including the process with the kitchen table. So this is early on. Actually, the bummer part is, I have to say, looking at the earlier stages as an artist, this is one thing that can happen is you kind of go too far. And you're like, oh, I liked it the first time, or I liked the first round, or I liked and now I ruined it. I overkilled. I did it too much. I went too far. But that's all part of the fun, and it's something that I can change. My husband makes jokes about the table, how much it probably weighs because of all of the polyurethane. And then not to mention, in the last year, I started adding some more. And I even tried, I was adding Bible verses with paint pen on top. I decided that was probably too distracting and ended up covering that over and did another layer. Not that the Bible verses aren't okay, but it was just visually, I just started changing it again and trying to create more depth. And I just really wanted the galaxy glittery, the depth of the universe. Like, of course, I can never copy God's creation. It's incredible. But as His created, because we are made in His image, it's normal and natural that we like to create in whatever way, shape, and form that may be. These end photos are the most recent changes that were done to the table, and just a lot more glitter, and then epoxy resin. First, I tried some UV resin, then I slowly started doing the epoxy resin, and that ended up not going as smoothly as I wanted because I just couldn't do it right. But I do look at just the gorgeous richness and the colors and the texture, and there is a incredible shine. Epoxy resin has been a great surface for our table. It actually really doesn't scratch very well. Like it's so durable, but my edges are not smooth. So I call it looks more of a rainwater effect. So I love it. So it's just fun. There's some areas I love and some areas I don't love, but it is what it is. It was fun and so much fun. So I hope you're inspired even a little to create or to explore creating and art making, and in this part one, painting in this case. And as you can see, painting is not limited to paper or canvas. You can paint on surfaces. There's practical art making. I've painted, like you saw at the beginning, my husband, I painted a landscape on a bag for his wheelchair to hold stuff, mailboxes, planters, whatever. So I hope you're inspired, and I hope you come back for part two. So far, it looks like there's going to be about 7 parts. That means there's 7 different areas that I can cover regarding methods of art making that I've done over the years. So have a great day, and if you're interested at all, I'd love it if you would subscribe, like, and share. It really helps the channel out a lot. Have a great weekend.